Loose 16.
Hey, I'm here. We're behind the mic and we're doing it. All right.
Yo, I realize why it's like a little darker in here because I got these foam panels. These foam panels are up.
What happened?
Because, like, yo, you see how some of these are a little crusty looking? It's because I've, like, put them up on the wall and I've taken them down a bunch.
Okay.
So some of them are ripped. So I just got a bunch of new ones that I'm going to just replace. So, yeah, that's really what it is now. Impy in the building. We're live. We're lit.
I didn't even know.
Yeah.
You hit record?
Yo, once you hear the claps, we're in. It's good, bro.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Happy week 1 Monday. We got some hot takes. We got some overreactions. We also got a new recruit to the dark side. DFS gang.
Hey, man, I profited yesterday.
Let's go. So much profits that, he stole one of my beers. He didn't even come fucking with gifts. What's up?
That's a complete lie. It was great.
What'd you think of DFS, man? Because I always like asking this question for someone that's predominantly a yearly player. And look, you've made a lineup or two in the past, but thoughts on DFS?
I'm how do I say this? I'm taking the content game a lot more serious this year, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, I guess, at the end of the episode or at the beginning of the episode.
Bro, just spill the beans.
I'm gonna be here once a week. I'm back.
Go, baby!
So I'm taking it up a notch.
That gotta be the caption for your post, like MJ in '95. I'm back.
And so with that comes a lot more preparation. You know what I mean? Like when you take something like this very serious, you put in a lot of work, and you know this.
Yep.
And so what am I going to do with all that additional knowledge and preparation? Let me actually try to put it to good use and make some money with it. Once they legalize sports betting in New York, potentially that would shift towards betting on games, which it definitely will. But until then, I'm gonna push those resources to daily fantasy. I'm in a couple fantasy leagues yearly.
How was week 1 for you?
Definitely lost 1 week. Definitely lost 1 league, and I need Josh Jacobs to not score 13 points tonight. Possible,
yeah. At the time we're recording, they just ruled him active. It was a little up in the air of him playing or not.
I can definitely see him not getting to it. I can also definitely see him getting to it. Oh, if he scores a touchdown, I'm probably shit out of luck.
You needed 13 points from Mike Boone that 1 year, right?
Don't start.
Let's go. Hey, man, I'm happy that us two, we spoke, and you were like, yo, I want to, create some stuff. And, everyone that listens to the show knows how I feel about you and our chemistry. I think it's top of the food chain. Yep. And I'm pumped, man. I'm pumped. You're giving me your time, and let's make some noise, some skin on skin. Let's make magic.
Let's do it. And back to the DFS thing real quick. It was great. I'm embodying these beginner tournaments, beginner double ups, beginner tournaments.
Yeah.
And the truth is, if you put in the work throughout the week, making these lineups is a little bit easier. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's not like you're just opening the app on Sunday morning and putting these lineups together. Like if you're doing the work and if you're absorbing content, you're reading articles, you're listening to podcasts all week long, it's not a guessing game as much as you think it is. You know what I mean? And, of course, things come up, last-second injuries here, whatever the case is.
Dude, Mostert, bro.
But that's an in-game injury.
Nah, I know, but there was no one on the Niners. Yo, tell them about Deebo Samuel. Did you end up starting Deebo? No, right?
Of course not.
Yo, so Impy hits me up and he goes, yo, who should I start, Callaway or Deebo? And I'm like, Callaway. And I was like, yo, Deebo's probably going to get like 4 to 6 targets. I think they blow them out anyway. He did get like 6 targets, but he also
over
had
100 yards.
6 for 189 and a touchdown. Yo, when he broke that tackle and he scored it, I'm looking at my phone. I was like, he's going to text me. Because I'm about 30 seconds delayed. I was like, yo, where is it? Where is it?
It was tough because I had Lockett yesterday in a yearly league, and so I felt really good about most of it. And then the Callaway, unfortunately, 1.9. Believe me, you're not the only one. Everyone I asked said Callaway.
Yeah.
So,
dude, in the Millie Maker on DraftKings, I believe he was like 32%, which is, if a guy in football in tournaments, like there's always 2 approaches, right? There's merit to play him, merit to fade him, right? If you know a guy's going to be talked up like Callaway, he has that big explosion in the preseason, those 2 touchdowns, no Thomas, no Traquan Smith. You're like, what the fuck? He's the number 1 wide receiver. Anytime a guy hits like 30% or more in NFL, that's a lot of ownership.
Got it.
So the contrarian play would be to not play him. I didn't play Callaway. I played so many mid-tier wide receivers. Yo, all of them had flames. I was all in on Jamar Chase.
Great.
Devontae Smith and
Corey
stacks.
Davis.
Corey Davis.
2
Loving
tutties.
it. The guys that ruined me were the guys I paid up for.
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley, 6 points.
Julio's not a pay up.
Yeah, but I didn't play Julio yesterday. It's just a running joke. Like I put up memes and shit about Julio because everyone knows. But it was more, Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs didn't blow up. Adams too. So it's weird, man. It's weird. But if you play double ups and 50-50s, that's a good way to build a bankroll.
For sure. And I was taking advantage of all those beginner brackets. We'll see how long I last in those. But yeah, I'll be honest with you. I got an email from FanDuel, and they basically said if you deposit $5 in, I don't remember when I got the email, but it was like if you deposit $5, we'll give you $50 for free. And I was like, that's free money. You're giving me $5 to dance with. I'm bringing $50 to the party. I turned $55 into close to $100, so I doubled up. It's pretty good, and I'm looking forward to doing it again next week for sure. That's
lit, man. That happened. Well, not so much. Poker Stars didn't give me any money at the time, but I was playing on Poker Stars for Christmas. This is how you know I'm a piece of shit. For Christmas, I got a gift card, and I was living at my grandma's crib at the time because I was in transition from Astoria to moving to Long Island, and like closings and shit and whatever, and painting and asbestos checks. So I took that money, I put it on Poker Stars. It was like it was $250. Put it all on there. I turned that into about $11K by the time April came around. Showed my pops. I was like, I think I'm going to just drop out of school and play poker. Next week, Black Friday. Shut down. The government came in, cease and desist. Lost all that money, dude.
If you would have cashed out, would you have got it?
Yeah, you would have got it.
Damn.
But I was just like, I'm going to just let it rock, just whatever.
It's like a savings account.
Yeah, like savings. I had no money in my Chase account, but I had money on Poker Stars. Hey, I got a shirt out of it, though, which is vintage.
Honestly, man, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I'll say this. The last thing I'll say, it really actually helped take my mind off yearly fantasy. Which I have a bad problem of I'm just staring at my app all day long. From before the kickoff, if I'm deciding on a player or two, I'm obviously that morning I'm making that decision. But from 1 o'clock Eastern to whatever, the end of the 4 o'clock window.
7:15-ish.
Depending on if you're getting blown out or not. But generally speaking, my eyes are glued to that app. And I will say, I had like 10 FanDuel lineups. It helped kind of distract me, I guess. Which was cool.
You know why also?
Nope.
DFS is instant gratification.
You can see it.
You can see it, and also you get paid at the end of the day.
You're right.
Whereas yearly, you could start 0-1, you could start 0-2, you get the money later. It's like a futures bet.
And by the way, I asked you, after I was in the green big, I said, so like when does this money hit my account?
Oh, yeah.
Because I wanted to let it ride with Sunday night.
Yeah.
So like not all of it, obviously, but I wanted to take some of my winnings from the 1 and the 4 o'clock slate.
Throw
and
it on
maybe,
to prime time.
And
I feel you.
And take a dance with 8 o'clock. But yeah, it was a great experience.
What's your football Sunday like?
Dread zone.
I know that, but like, do you go out? Are you a stay home?
It's tough. I have a couple different friends groups that love football, so I try my best to actually go to a couple of different places. I go maybe I'll watch the 1 o'clock at one of my friend's house. Then I go to the 4 o'clock, watch the 4 o'clock at another friend's house. Something like that. I really try to watch with as many people as possible. Granted, we're in a COVID era, but nonetheless, I really love chopping it up with people, getting other people's takes, hearing how outlandish of a take someone has, whatever the case is. I love absorbing people's opinions, and I just love being around people, especially watching sports. So, yeah.
Man, it's so weird because I'm trying to remember. I feel like when we were a lot younger, we would always go to Joey's crib.
Yep.
That was like the spot. You wouldn't even text. You'd just be like,
show up.
Right, 1 o'clock, you're there. And now over the years, I know we would link up for like fantasy playoffs. We'd go to like Espos.
For sure.
Went to Joey's, Secret Santa and shit like that. So that was really interesting. But I've lost the appeal of going to games so much when it's a Sunday game. Now primetime it's different because there's nothing else on TV. Standalone factor to bring in the betting terminology. But I really like Dude, the TV product is so fucking good.
Yo, it's so funny that you bring that up because I was actually listening to Russillo last week. He had Scott Hansen on. He does the Scott Hansen interview once a year.
I saw a clip of that. Yeah.
Scott Hansen.
What a gig!
So ready for this?
Bro.
So before Red Zone was a thing, they didn't know who to hire for that job at NFL Network. It was almost to the point where they were, I wouldn't say soliciting people's interest, but they clearly didn't have an idea of who they wanted to hire.
Or what it was going to be, too.
What it was going to be, how successful it was going to be. No one really knew anything.
What'd they say Red Zone is? 14 years? 13 years?
I don't know if that, 12?
I think it's around there. It's in like the mid-teens.
Over 10 for sure.
Yeah.
And he basically said, like, it felt to me like I was the only person at the company, like, raising my hand, saying, like, I want to do this. Let's ride. I really believe in this. Lo and behold, 10 years later, he's obviously a megastar. They keep, they're paying him nonstop.
Little kids are growing up, or dressing like him on
Scott
Halloween.
Hansen.
Yeah.
So it was just funny to think, like, I couldn't imagine watching football. Granted, if I'm watching a standalone game, completely different, Jets game, you're watching a Giant, whatever the case is. But it's very hard to imagine. Or a primetime game, for example, Chiefs-Browns. It's different. But it's really hard to imagine me watching football on a Sunday without having Red Zone on one of the TVs.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. Dude, I went out one time for not even a brunch, but it was like a brunch. This is like 2-3 years ago. I went out with this chick, and we went back to her friend's apartment. There was like 10 of us there. And they're like, oh, we're going to watch the Jet game. I was like, all right, cool. The Giants play at 4:30. Dude, I go to the house. They don't have Red Zone. I felt like I was in prison. I was like, I'm struggling to watch. I can't. Commercials?
What's this?
I was like, what's a commercial?
Yep.
Dude, when Red Zone shows a commercial, just like briefly, I'm like, oh, what's going on?
Switch
that shit up, baby.
Yeah. I get mad when it's on, like, you're watching one game on the main TV and Red Zone has that one
You're like, yo.
Read my mind. How do you use? Come on.
I have a setup where I have Red Zone on the TV, and then I'll put the Giants on the laptop, or vice versa, depending on how I feel. Now, I mean, I can't with the Giants. We'll get into them in just a bit. But I'm a big fan of staying home, bro.
Of course.
And especially the reason I said that thing about like the primetime games is because the 1 o'clock games, the 4 o'clock games, it's dope if you go to a 4 o'clock football game because you could go early around noon and tailgate and everyone got the RVs and the TV. So you could watch. That's dope. But to go to a 1 o'clock game, I went last year. It was 2 years ago. I went to Bills Giants. Like week 2 was the home opener. Dude, I didn't get home till 7 o'clock.
That's because you couldn't get out the parking lot.
Traffic, getting out, going through the city, dropping off my friend in the Lower East Side. I was like, damn, bro, I just missed a whole Sunday.
Yeah, no. I mean, football's that one sport, man. The presentation at home is so much better. From the replays to the, I mean, granted, the commentary I could really live without, but it's the replays, it's the convenience of it. And also, not for nothing, like, you get a couple years out of the season where you can go there and you're not frigid cold, at least for us in the Northeast.
Yeah, if you go after, like, mid-October, it's like, yo, you're going to need a heavy jacket.
Yeah, and you're sitting around, you're not really moving that much, at an NFL game at least, right? So It's like, the product is much better at the house, to say the least.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get into some takes. Down to talk some takes?
We're gonna go 5.
5 and 5. I got 5. You got 5. I don't know your 5. You don't know my 5. I also have some honorable mentions in the event that maybe you have some of the same ones as me. But tell me, man. Talk to me. What's a couple things? Now they don't necessarily need to be hot takes.
Overreactions.
But yeah.
But hold on. And by the way, let me just give you some credit.
I like credit.
We discussed this. We talk about content in advance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have the content, subjects, outlines,
Been doing this a while.
Absolutely. Documented well in advance, where you know what we're going to talk about weeks in advance, right? Everyone was doing week 1 season totals before, like, the week before the NFL season started. Everyone was doing NFL win totals.
They're doing
it. We was
doing them shit
years ago.
Years ago in like July.
Yes.
So act accordingly.
And I'll also give you another piece of credit here.
Double credit.
Double credit.
Let's go.
If you got a 60 on this test, with all this extra credit, you would have passed. With the overreactions thing, I feel like we've been doing that for years, to your point, and I'm seeing a lot of people do that now. It's like, yo, we kind of...
Yeah, well, so here's the thing, right? It's the one reason why I was always fascinated about betting content was because it adds such a different dynamic to sports analysis.
Yes.
So the sports books, historically, they gain such an edge between week 1 and 2 than any other week throughout the year.
Yeah.
Why would you say that? I have the answer. Let me see if you can catch on.
Because everyone's passing judgment based on everything from last year.
Yeah. We're starving for football. We're all football junkies. We want this shit. We've been drafting for 6 weeks. We've been following the NFL draft, fantasy.
Watching baseball.
Yeah, like all that shit. But we're basing our entire breakdown and thoughts on the Panthers from what we saw December 28th, 29th, whenever the last game, week 17 was last year. So you have 9 months. Dude, a lot has happened in 9 months. Just in general, like across the board, mad shit happens in 9 months. So week 1, we have all these expectations, whether high or low for certain teams, and then it alters public perception moving forward. You know the Jaguars last year won outright against the Colts at home as a 9-point underdog?
Was that week 1?
Week 1. And then they lost 15 straight games.
Yes.
And people would still be like, you'd hear these dudes on betting shows, oh, the sharps are on the Jaguars. Why? Because and this is like week 9. It's like, why are they on it? Because they won week 1? They're getting pummeled every week.
Yeah.
They want to lose. So it's the biggest overreaction across the board. The sports books, yesterday, 11 underdogs covered, 11-4 record.
Early in the season.
Now, I'm telling you, next week, man, bet some of them favorites, bro.
Yeah.
But that's why you get those big overreactions.